Hello, it is August 2nd and it is 3:16 p.m. There are certain things I want to show you guys real quick, okay? So this started off on July 9th at 10:36 p.m. It says Greedy Framer, Dad the Greedy Framer's nickname is Mona, is written on there. And then you had more of these around the same time, July 9th. It was, this one is for 6.2 million euros. Okay, these are actually old ones. I have some new ones in there as well. Okay, this is 10.7 million euros. Okay, this is 2 million euros. All of them, by the way, in euros. And I'm watching YouTube where? In the US. We don't use euros here. And the first one had his nickname Mona written on it. Okay, this one is 6.2 million euros. Okay, July 9th, 2026. The only person I would know, my dad, the Greedy Framer, who uses euros, 6.2 million euros in there, okay? Then, except for that, you also have, let me show you some other ones. Okay, this is really recent. This is July 31st, only about 2 days ago. This is 18 million euros. The only person who deals in euros, never dealt with anything to do with euros on my YouTube. Obviously, he's sending these blackmail price tags. If you don't believe me, you can ask law enforcement, okay? Yeah, so except for that, he is also then after making false testimonies against me, numerous false testimonies, given 5 times to make false testimonies against me. 2 days ago at 10:44 p.m., July 31st, okay, he's asking for forgiveness. It says that mafi means forgiveness, to asking me for forgiveness so that I would forgive him. Okay, and so yeah, and this is 2.1 million euros. Okay, this is just 2 days ago. Okay, today is August 2nd. This is 2.1 million euros. Okay, yeah, and then he is asking me for forgiveness again. 2 nights ago at 10:13 p.m. Even though this has been settled as being the main signifying symbol of asking for forgiveness, it's the A Mafi. Mafi means forgiveness. So he's basically asking for forgiveness after making numerous false testimonies against me, aggressively arguing against me in court to try to enviously lock up my brain savant, only because he didn't think he would get equal share as my mother would. And now that he's been caught making numerous false testimonies and lies, he's done begging everyone to narrate in the trial who hasn't been caught lying yet, since everyone he's had have all been caught lying. Now he's asking for forgiveness. This is July 31st, so this A Mafi was a known symbol for forgiveness, a sign and symbol for forgiveness, and so he's asking for forgiveness. Well-known fact that he's asking for forgiveness after basically making numerous false testimonies against me, only to enviously lock up my brain savant because of the money that he knows he cannot get an equal share of as my mother if my brain savant would get freed. So he's asking for forgiveness so that he could get another chance at being able to get money out of me. This symbol has been a known symbol of forgiveness, the A Mafi. Since Mafi means forgiveness, it's become a known symbol for forgiveness. He's asking for forgiveness, and he's only doing this because he's got no other option. Everyone that he had narrate in the trial, except for him, he made it very aggressively. Early April, he abused every single person in court, only because this was his 3rd try. And before early April 2026, he had already tried every single thing, including incest with his big fat ugly old sisters for the Greedy Framer. February 11th, 3:17 a.m. He was told it was an open advertisement for incest. The man in his 5-foot-long beard did not care. And on March 7th, 2026, he still had sent me the same porn star's picture 3 times on March 7th, 2026, despite knowing that this has already been labeled as an open advertisement for incest on February 11th at 3:17 a.m. Then on And then 3 days later, March 10th, 2026, and every single day afterwards, he sends me sexually explicit pictures of a woman resembling his other sister, offering in hopes of getting illegal assurance of money. The same money I just showed you right now, I've been getting, despite me labeling it open advertisement for price tags, blackmails for money before my brain savant would get freed. And yet he would send me these same blackmail price tags, and he would then ask me, and then he would put an advertisement for incest with his own big fat ugly old sisters with these same price tags of millions of euros. Okay, with me already labeling it known symbol for blackmail price tags of money, since no one else works with euros. Okay, so now the other thing that we have to look at is his sister, who is literally just saying, just take one of my daughters from me to marry. Basically a Ponzi scheme. She knows I know about her making false testimonies against me. I do not like her. I don't like her daughters. They're abnormal looking, ugly girls, and she just wants me to like pick literally any one of her daughters. This is like July 30th, 2 days ago. Okay, and then this is again July 30th. Okay, 2 days ago. Her daughters are really ugly. I'm not into them. And so now I'm also getting blackmail price tags from Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer's house, $64.5 million. This has been labeled as a way of sending blackmail price tags to me since March 2026. Every single day in my journal, and Ibrahim and his mother still said, keep sending it to him. My point for making this journal right now is to basically make the point clear that my dad, the Greedy Framer, has two different criterias, one for himself and one for others. He basically wants himself to run on my brain savant money and the potential for my brain savant money, begging me all day night long for forgiveness, sending me blackmail price tags. These blackmail price tags, by the way, are only 2 days old, and the forgiveness only 2 days old. I didn't have time to open YouTube yesterday. I didn't check for any blackmail price tag or forgiveness request from him yesterday. So basically, yeah, he's begging me for forgiveness, despite making false testimonies against me more than 5 times, by the way. And he is sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros, okay, while at the same time he is trying very aggressively to narrate in the trial against me and trying to find other people that would, so that he can lock up my brain savant, while at the same time he's trying to make up lies against me after being found 5 times. And the third time he went in very aggressively, only because he tried the entire month of March to send me blackmail price tags of millions of euros, while at the same time trying to get me to commit incest with his big fat ugly old sisters. Law enforcement, I told them straight out, like, I know for a fact his Framer sisters confessed before November 20th, which is why he's asking me for all this money, since he knows that there's no reason I would give this psycho any money anyways after my brain savant is freed. So the only reason he would be begging me all day and night long for price tags, blackmail price tags based on millions of euros, is because he knows that this is the only option left. Well, he didn't think that was the only option left, because in early April he went back in court after being found to make new lies against me, numerous lies that raised mass panic and chaos, only to be found out as being complete and total lies. November 20th, his Framer sister was witnessed by a government informant, fully fabricating on him, asking her to do so. Early January 2026, all those lies he aggressively made were already labeled as being complete and total lies, confessed to by his Framer sisters, telling the government informant that these are planned lies and we have nothing against Hassan, all we have are lies. So third time he went in very aggressively, saying that I wasn't gonna make any deals based on any money before my brain savant would get freed, and that yeah, it was no use trying anything, either, whether it was incest with one sister or 2 of them. He tried it with February 11th through 17 a.m. after he was told February 10th his lies were well known. He was told that this is an open advertisement for incest, sending a porn star's picture with your sister's name on it. He didn't care. He still tried it. February March 7th 2026 3 times with the same porn star's picture with his sister's name on it. Then March March 10th, 2026, big fat ugly old sister offering sexually explicit pictures of a woman resembling her on March 10th every single day afterwards. That's how disgusting this man is. Basically, the point of me making this video is he wants everyone to run on a different criteria of me. He wants everyone to go on based on my GPA from pharmacy school, despite law enforcement already confessing in court that that they not only inhibited me from being able to give my biochem exam, the last exam that I had, where severe amnesia drugs were used on that biochem exam, and that the exams before it. And they confessed to doing this, and they confessed to also inhibiting me from being able to study using the same severe amnesia drugs while locking up my brain savant. Everything was confessed by law enforcement, and yet he still wants me, and I still had to like run on literally 2 sandwiches, a pack of ramen noodles with my stepmother, never sharing any food with me, abuses from her, like adding acid to my clothes, puncturing holes in my clothes, abusing me, never giving me any food. He still wants everyone to go based on the pharmacy school GPA, despite me even in the end sleeping on the side of the streets near my overseas pharmacy school to get my overseas PharmD degree before bringing it back home to my mother, who paid so much money for it. She used to pay almost like a lot of money. She paid a lot of money. She worked really hard at a Food Line grocery store to send me money so I could finish my school. So I even slept on the side of the streets after going months with very little food. Law enforcement's a witness to all the abuses I went through, sleeping on the side of the streets with lizards crawling all around me, not having a place to even hang my towel, working really hard despite amnesia drugs being used on my brain, despite my brain savant being fully locked up. My dad, the greedy farmer, wants everyone out except for him to run based on a criteria of my pharmacy school GPA or my status right now of when my brain savant isn't freed yet. That's what he wants everyone to run on. Look at Hassan right now. Look at Hassan right now. Look at him right now. His brain savant's all locked up. He can't even study right now. Look at him right now. Look at his pharmacy school GPA. Look at his pharmacy school GPA, okay? Even though I have my degree, when I go give my board exams, for which I have submitted all my documents for, by the way, they're not going to look at my GPA. All I have to do is give my board exams, thankfully, and I get my license to practice pharmacy over in the US. Nothing was required. I don't even have any loans. But this is what my dad, the greedy farmer, wants to say. He'd be like, look at him. Look at Hassan right now. Right now, when his brain savant isn't freed, look at him right now. And look at his pharmacy school GPA, okay? But for himself, he wants a different criteria. He wants to running after me, praising me all day on my face, asking me for forgiveness on my face, sending me blackmail price tags of millions of euros on my face, based on what I would be after my brain savant would get freed. But for everyone else, he wants them to run based on how I am right now without my brain savant, not even able to study, and how my pharmacy school GPA was. He wants 2 different criteria, one for himself, where he's running based on what the monetary potential is for my brain savant after my brain savant would get freed. Right now, asking me for forgiveness all day, sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros right now as we speak. That's the criteria he wants to run on with me for himself, based on what I would be after my brain savant would get freed, which artificial intelligence has already predicted and told everyone about. And we know for a fact he believes in it very strongly. If he didn't believe in it very strongly, then he can ask his own framer sister, for the greedy framer, on why it is that she has been sending me these things for her daughters all day, night long, only for 2 days ago, okay? Basically saying just choose any of my daughters, which I'm not interested in. I already told her I am not interested in at all, one bit. Only 2 days ago, okay? Same thing. Only 2 days ago, okay? Same thing. And you know how many she sent me so far? 70. She sent me 70. 70 of these requests so far, and it's insane that someone would actually be sending someone this 70 times. It's absolutely insane that someone would be sending someone this, but this is nothing compared to the other stuff that she sent me when my June 24th brain savant test results came out. Okay, the kind of stuff she sent me over at that time was insane. The thing that the courts need to ask this man with this 5 foot long beard is, if he does not believe in, look at what the girl in the blue is wearing on the bottom and what the girl on the gray is wearing on top. That's what Farah the Greedy Framer, my dad's own sister, sent me on July 14th, not too long ago, July 14th, last month. Okay, like 2 weeks ago. Okay, this is what she sent me. Well, look at what the girl in the gray is wearing on top, and look at what the girl in the blue is wearing on the bottom. Okay, this is what a woman who dresses up like a nun sent me on July 14th, only 2 weeks ago, for two of her daughters, Ifra and Zara. This is the kind of advertisement she's doing for her daughters right as soon as she finds out that my brain savant has gotten freed. My dad and his framer sisters want two criterias. One that they choose to associate with me with, which is based on after my brain savant would get free. This is from 2 weeks ago, by the way. 2 weeks ago, not 2 million years ago. This is 2 weeks ago. One criteria is based on what I would be after my brain savant would get freed, is how they run after me, like, or this is only from 2 weeks ago. And the other criteria that they want everyone else to associate with me with is that how I would be, how I am right now. Basically, sorry, they use drugs on me. How I am right now is what the criteria is that they want everyone else to associate with me with. They'll just be like, look at him right now. He can't even study right now. He can't even open up a textbook right now. Since July 1st, 2023, since past 3 years, he can't even open up a textbook, which is not my fault. That's literally all I would do before July 1st, 2023. And he'd be like, look at his pharmacy school GPA. Look at it. Look at that GPA. They want one criteria that everyone else runs on, okay? And the other criteria that they themselves run on. My dad, the Greedy Framer, and his framer sister, Farah, the Greedy Framer. This is the kind of advertisement this woman who dresses up like a nun does for her daughters. That girl, one of them's supposed to be Ifra, the one with look at the top for the girl in the gray. And the girl in the blue is, look at the bottom for her. She's advertising Ifra and Zara to me, basically saying, both of these are my daughters, you pick one for yourself. Yeah. And one criteria that they run on, another one that they want everyone else to run on. How many of advertisements, I just showed you other ones right now, how many advertisements do you think Farah the Greedy Framer has sent me in the past month and a half? Since June 16? How many? Just month and a half. It's not been that long ago. June 16 is not that long ago, literally a month and a half ago. So 70, 70, more than 70 requests for me to marry her daughter. Not even like I didn't make up my mind. I was like, I'm thinking. I said it very first time I told law enforcement. I said, let this woman know I'm not interested in her daughters. Any of them. I'm not interested in her daughters at all. First time. And she still sent me 70 requests after I said that very first time. And I said it every single time afterwards, and she still kept saying it over and over again. Yeah, you have to also understand the fact that when did this start, this advertisement for her daughters? Basically, and the other thing I had to mention was the fact that after July 6th, I labeled it a Ponzi scheme. Basically, get me to sign a prenup marriage blackmail based on these sexually explicit pictures being sent by the woman who claimed that I was a bad person November 20th, early January 2026. Early January was already confessed before November 20th. November 20th was fabricated in front of a government informant. Then early April 2026, more lies, all found to be complete and total lies from the phone conversations retrieved. And then they had another lie made right now in July that was fully fabricated and caught as well. 4 set of lies that Farah the Greedy Framer was trying to make against me, all of them caught completely. That woman wants me to marry her daughters, and she's been sending me sexually explicit pictures of her daughter, like this one right over here. Just look at what the girl in the gray is wearing on top and what the girl in the blue is wearing on the bottom. This is literally a Ponzi scheme. I label it as such on July 6th, and she's still sending me these. It's been literally after July 6th, after it's been labeled a Ponzi scheme, I've literally received more than 40 of these requests since July 6th. Hasn't even been a month yet, And she's already sent me 40, more than 40 actually, requests for me to marry her, basically sign this prenup marriage blackmail Ponzi scheme. This, by far, the Greedy Framer, by the way, started right after she came back from getting her daughter Ifra married. Who told her while she was getting Ifra married? The Indian government did. The same government. Basically, what Farah the Greedy Framer basically did was she created a lot of mass panic and chaos in the country in the year 2019. So basically, what she ended up doing was she created a lot of mass panic and chaos in the country in the year 2019, and she basically just said, she said that U.S. law enforcement is a national security risk in the country of Pakistan. And the only people who were listening to her at that time were the news media in that country of Pakistan at that time. I could name you two news journalists right now, but I'm not going to, because then it'll piss them off and they'll get annoyed by me naming their names from that country of Pakistan, who were basically quoting Farah the Greedy Framer and saying that she is right. These people from U.S. law enforcement are a national security risk for our country. They are raping and murdering our woman. Why did he say that? Because of her scathing police report, and because of the person in this very law enforcement team who would not stop running after her after she made that police report against him. He would still continue running after her. He's the same person who gets the monthly money from the unemployment disability fraud. So yeah, he's from the same very law enforcement team, and she made the police report against him, a scathing police report, by the way, raised all kinds of alarms in that country. She's really good at doing that. We learned that November 20th, where a crime and setting did not even exist. She was fully involved in it against me only because I didn't want to go with either one of these two daughters of hers. Right now she's basically saying just pick any one of them. Any one of my daughters, just give me the money that artificial intelligence said about your brain savant. Just give me that money and just pick anyone. That's how greedy this woman is. But the scathing police reports that she made against these patriotic and good men, quote unquote, yeah, it's just like at that time they were like, she didn't need them for anything for to help her get revenge for these two daughters of hers, whom I have no will. I don't want to marry them. Okay, they're using drugs on me. I can't think of the words. I don't want to marry them. It's plain and simple. I already told her I'm not good. I said, I'm good. I don't want them. Like, seriously, I'm all right. Thank you very much for asking. I said it the very first time. She said that these people in U.S. law enforcement were a national security threat to that country of Pakistan. The news media in that country went into panic. It was just like screaming out loud. She's right. They are a national security threat. Obviously, the government was totally ignoring it. So she went and she told the Indian government in Pakistan at that time, and she told them, she was like, look, these people are a national security risk to this country. They're raping and murdering me. What she didn't say was she was sleeping with that guy who gets the monthly money from the unemployment disability fraud from this very law enforcement team before she made the scathing police report against him. And she was probably sleeping with all of his friends, which is probably why her brother, my dad, the Greedy Framer, uses her as bait to try to get money on February 11th and March 7th. He uses his own sisters to try to get illegal assurance of money. You know this. You just ask law enforcement. He would send me these. He would send me a porn star's picture named Sunny Leon with his sister Farah's name written on it, along with blackmail price tags for millions of euros. I'm laughing because no one does this, okay? And especially not the guy who's claiming that money doesn't exist. Like, you seem really desperate for that money. You're selling your own sisters for it. But he knows very well about her and her history. So yeah. That same Indian government, by the way, I have nothing against the Indian government. They're amazing people. I love them all. I love them very much. But they made a mistake, and they told Farah the Greedy Framer about my brain savant when she went to go get her daughter Ifra married. It's supposed to be the girl in the gray. I guess she's divorced now. She went to go get her married, and the Indian government told her about my brain savant. Now, U.S. law enforcement never told her, so she comes back home after getting her daughter Ifra married, and the first thing she does is she tells U.S. law enforcement, she says, check if Hassan wanted to marry my daughter Ifra or not. And U.S. law enforcement is just like, we never told her about his brain savant. She just came back from getting her married literally right now, and U.S. law enforcement is putting on my YouTube Shah Rukh Khan with Angelina Jolie, and I'm just like, she just had her married right now. And she's already checking to see what the chances of me getting married to her were. very greedy tactic, and I knew for a fact that the Indian government basically told her fully about my brain savant when she went to go get her daughter Ifra married. So the point for my video right now is my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sister, Farrah the greedy framer, need to make up their mind. Which criteria do they go run after me on or deal with me based on? My dad, the greedy framer, and Farrah the greedy framer want everyone else to go based on the criteria that right now I'm not able to even read a textbook because my brain savant is fully locked up and they're not going to let me study. And they want everyone to go based on my criteria right now and how I am right now with my brain savant fully locked up. And they want everyone to go based on my pharmacy school GPA, where law enforcement confessed that they used severe amnesia drugs on me in the exam room after fully locking up my brain savant. And they didn't even let me know that I had a brain savant until August 9th, 2022, years after I got my pharmacy degree in October 2019. So, yeah. But for themselves, they want to go based on the criteria of how I would be like after my brain savant would get freed. This is the kind of advertisement the nun, for the greedy framer, sends me for her daughter. Just look at the girl in the gray, look at her top, and look at the girl in the blue at her bottom. This is how she's advertising her daughters to me. And she wants everyone else to go based on a criteria of how I am right now with my brain savant locked up and me not even able to open up a textbook, and based on a pharmacy school GPA where I wasn't even allowed to, where I wasn't allowed to know that I had a brain savant, fully locked up, using amnesia drugs on me the entire time, and being abused by my stepmother, fully witnessed by law enforcement, completely abused all day, every day. Sick, ugly, old, disgusting woman. My dad, the greedy framer's wife. And they want everyone to go based on that pharmacy school GPA and how my brain savant's locked up right now. But for themselves, they want to go based on how I would be like after my brain savant would get freed. Two different criterias. My dad, the greedy framer, begging me for forgiveness all day, night long. And sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros all day, night long. He wants everyone else to go based on the criteria of how my brain savant is locked up right now. I'm not even able to open up a textbook right now, how my pharmacy school GPA was. That's the criteria that he wants everyone to go based on. But for himself, he wants a different criteria. It's the same thing like when my dad, the greedy framer, basically, he was spending all day and night long trying to convince Miss Deb that she shouldn't give me her daughter at all. She should not give me her daughter at all, because he would say the same thing. Look at his brain savant, all locked up right now. You should not give him your daughter. That's not a very smart thing to do, to give a guy like him your daughter. Not at all. And And then he would be like, his brain savant's fully locked up right now. I don't think there's any monetary potential to it. And blah, blah, blah. Look at his pharmacy school GPA. When he knew that law enforcement told him that, obviously, they use amnesia drugs on me in the exam room and outside of it. And they confessed this in court. Now, while he's trying all day, night long, calling Miss Deb and telling everyone, oh, I just want to convince her to not give him her daughter, he was basically getting revenge on me from before for knowing that I was not going to share any money. Basically, I talk to this man once every 5 years, and all of a sudden in 2025, he finds out about my brain savant. He wants me to talk to him every single day. I can't do that. I've got mother to take care of. I've got a sister to take care of. I can't do that. So he basically tries to get revenge on me by calling different people and telling them that my brain savant shouldn't get freed. They shouldn't give me their daughter, blah, blah, blah. Well, imagine Miss Deb's surprise when she found out that he was advertising his wife's niece to me based on what his wife wanted. Okay, this is the video for the new Flying Spur, a car by Bentley that he would put up on my YouTube all day, night long. Okay, let me make this a little better. And he was basically advertising this girl to me all day, night long, while at the same time he's telling Miss Deb to not give me her daughter. And he's asking law enforcement to advertise this girl to me to try to check to see what the chances of me marrying her would be. But he wants Miss Deb to not give me her daughter. And he's calling her, telling her that, oh, you shouldn't give him your daughter because look at his pharmacy school GP. Look at his brain savant right now. It's fully locked up. Look at him right now. Look at him right now. That's what Miss Deb was supposed to go based on the criteria for. But for himself, he wanted to advertise his wife's niece to me all day, night long. Two different criterias. One for himself, where he's going based on what I would be after my brain savant would get freed, and one for other people like Miss Deb, who should go based on what he wants her to go based on, which is my brain savant being fully locked up right now in my pharmacy school GPA, where I was fully abused, inhibited from being able to study. So he's doing two different things. He's telling Miss Deb that she shouldn't give me her daughter, and based on my brain savant being locked up at that time, while at that same time, he's advertising his wife's niece to me all day and night long to try to check to see if he could replace Miss Deb's daughter with this girl, or not. And you know what Miss Deb did? At that time, Miss Deb was running after me all day and night long. You know what she did? She told him, one day he called her with that same excuse. I'm just calling her to tell her to not give him her daughter. Miss Deb was pretty close with law enforcement. Law enforcement told her that this is what's going on. One day he calls her and she says, it's inappropriate for you, a married man with a 5-foot-long beard grown based on your piousness, to be calling me a married woman all day, night long, every single day. I think you should stop doing this. And that's when he stopped. She understood the fact that he was not trying to convince her. He just wanted a woman to talk to, for one. And the other thing is, he was trying to get revenge from me for knowing that I wasn't going to share any of the brain savant money, that he was blackmailing me, price tags out for all day and night long. So for everyone else, he wants everyone to go based on the criteria of what I'm doing right now when my brain savant is fully locked up. Law enforcement is confessing that they have locked up. They're confessing that I'm literally the only triple brain savant in the world right now, fully tested in front of the entire world on November 14, 2025, with every single country in the world being a witness to this fact. But for himself, he wants to go based on the criteria of what my brain savant is capable of, based on what artificial intelligence predicted. But for everyone else should go based on the criteria of what I am right now, and the fact that my brain savant is fully locked up and I can't even open up a textbook after July 1st, 2023, due to their extreme envy of law enforcement. Yeah, and not only that, this psycho man with his two-faced bipolar disorder personality is not only begging me with a Mafi, he's sending me all these father-son ads all day, night long, all these cheesy videos of a guy saying, you struck my son. This is July 10th. I heard you struck he looks like he's crying. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. And right after he's done sending me all the blackmail price tags for millions of euros, that's what he sends me. So basically two different criteria that he wants everyone to be running based on. One is for himself, and the other one is for everyone else. Everyone else should be going based on a different criteria. He should be going based on another one. He's sending me these father-son ads all day, night long these days as well. I have other ones in my thing. The guy is a psychopath. On the one hand, he wants all the money for himself greedily by asking me for forgiveness from the past 2 days, all day and night long, asking me for forgiveness while sending me blackmail price tags of millions of euros all day and night long. While at the same time, he wants everyone else to go based on the criteria that my brain savant is locked up right now and my high school GPA was not as high as it could be due to law enforcement confessing in court that my brain savant was locked up, and they used severe amnesia drugs on me. With the last biochem exam, they used so much amnesia drugs on me I couldn't even remember how to spell my own name. And law enforcement is a witness to this fact. And they also confessed that they did this in numerous other exams, making it a miracle that I even have a college degree, a Pharm D with 0 loans that only requires a simple English exam for me to sit in the board exams, which I've literally already passed once while being tortured in Saudi Arabia. I passed that exam. It's that easy to take. And the board exam for a guy with a triple brain savant, the artificial intelligence report from August 9, 2022, mid-May 2023, April 22nd, 2025, June 5th, 2025, November 14th, 2025, May 10th, 2026, June 24th, 2026 will tell you 7 different brain savant reports from artificial intelligence. 7. Either artificial intelligence, a really good buddy of mine who likes lying for me each and every single time, and the fact that I have to be psychic to predict what the artificial intelligence reports say, or that I'm telling the truth and artificial intelligence is telling the truth on my brain savant as well. And also, I'm not psychic enough to know that on July 18, Ibrahim was advertising his sister to me only last month because June 24th was overanalyzed. So yeah, basically the point of me making this video is to let everyone know that my dad, the Greedy Framer, has 2 criteria. One for himself, where he wants to run after me all day, night long, and so does his Greedy Framer sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, all day, night long, sending me ads for her daughters, all day, night long, while based on what my brain savant potential is according to artificial intelligence, while they want everyone else to be running on the criteria of my brain savant being locked up right now, me not being able to do anything, and based on my pharmacy school GPA, when law enforcement has confessed that they used severe amnesia drugs on me to force me to fail my exams after locking up my brain savant, making it a miracle that I have a college degree after sleeping on the side of the streets and running on 2 sandwiches and ramen noodles, a pack of ramen noodles, as law enforcement themselves witnessed while I was living with my stepmother. He wants everyone to be running after me, thinking of me based on that criteria. While he himself has been running based on the criteria of my brain savant after it would get freed from what artificial intelligence has predicted the monetary potential for it would be. This is only from 2 days ago, okay? 2 days ago, 10:13 p.m. That is the AMAFI. Mafi means forgiveness, and this has been labeled as a symbol of forgiveness, and yet he was still sending it to me over and over again, okay? Same thing, it was already labeled as a symbol for forgiveness, and he was keep on sending it to me over and over again to try to see if I was willing to give him any forgiveness or not. Okay, well, at the same time, he's sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros all day, night long, like this 18 million euro one, only from 2 days ago, 18 million euro one, okay? And his sister is also running after me. By the way, his sister was not told by the U.S. law enforcement. She was told by the same Indian government that she complained to about U.S. law enforcement in 2019. Basically, in 2019, after his sister made a huge mess with the scathing police report claiming that U.S. law enforcement was a national security risk to the country of Pakistan and raising human rights concerns, due to which the Indian government had to go lecture Joe Biden on human rights crimes. After doing all of this, the Pakistani government obviously ignored her. But the news journalists over there were not ignoring her. And if she says that there were no new news journalists, I'll start naming them, the ones that were quoting for the Greedy Framer from Pakistan. I'll start naming them for you. But it was, yeah. And so she complained to the Indian government because she didn't think that the Pakistani government was taking her seriously. So she went and she complained to the Indian government, due to which they had to go lecture Joe Biden on human rights crimes. And she made a huge mess over there, scathing police report. And she almost forced U.S. law enforcement to be kicked out of that country for good, where the news media was so much against the U.S. law enforcement, saying that they are a national security risk to the country of Pakistan because they are raping and murdering their women, is what it looked like at that time, because they didn't know the history from before, and the scathing police report was there, and the guy who receives the monthly money from the unemployment disability fraud every month from this very law enforcement team kept running after her, due to which news media was like, yes, they look like they are national security risks. They look like they're raping and murdering our woman. So the reason I made this video is so that my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sister, who received all the news on my brain savant while she was getting Ifra married, from the Indian government, the same people she complained about U.S. law enforcement to being a national security risk to other people's countries and women being raped and murdered over there. Same people she calls patriotic and good men right now, only because they're helping her get revenge from me for not wanting her abnormal looking, ugly, divorced daughters, whom I have no interest in. Yeah, see, for her personal interest, national security becomes a risk for anyone she does not like at that time. Yes, this is what happened in 2019. It happened on November 20th again, where a crime and setting did not even exist, and yet I was a national security risk on November 20th, 2025, was I not? After that November 20th, news media against me was the exact same way they were in Pakistan in 2019 against U.S. law enforcement, the exact same way. She did a really good job convincing them, and we know for a fact she was involved in November 20th because as soon as the government informant was involved, was announced, the first person kicked out of the spokesperson stand was Farah the Grady Framer. So yes, she's really good at fabricating false testimonies, creating mass panic and chaos based on national security risk against anyone she does not like at that time, and labeling people patriotic and good men without them doing anything different from 2019 till now, except for her helping her get revenge from me for not wanting her abnormal looking, ugly, divorced daughters, whom I've told her on June 16 I did not want, and she still sent me 70 requests for me to run this Ponzi scheme where I signed a request for them. Raised in poverty, by the way. Mother worked at fast food restaurants. Haven't even seen a penny of this brain savant money. My dad, the greedy framer, and his psycho sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, want everyone to run based on a criteria of me, based on my brain savant being locked up right now and my high school GPA, where I was not only badly abused by my stepmother, had no food, had to sleep on the side of the streets. Afterwards, law enforcement confessed to locking up my brain savant, so I couldn't even know I had brain savant until August 9, 2022, even though I received my degree in October 2019, which means that the entire time I was sleeping on the side of the streets with a locked brain savant, amnesia drugs being used on me, still working really, really hard, making it a miracle that I even have a college degree with 0 loans, a PharmD degree with 0 loans that literally only requires me to go take a simple English exam in order to sit for the board exams, which would be a piece of cake and less than a day's work for a guy with a triple brain savant like myself, labeled by artificial intelligence itself in the more than 7 artificial intelligence reports that I named right now, that artificial intelligence would never lie for me. Computer is no one's friend, and I have no way of, knowing what the report says, unless if I was telling the truth on my brain savant. So my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, want everyone to see me based on the criteria of what I'm doing right now, and based on my brain savant being locked up without me even being allowed to give my board exams. And the last time I went to go sign up for it in Towson, they used so much severe mental torture on me, I had to leave that building. I couldn't even sign up for my board exams, but I only have to sign up for it and go sit in that board exam, which for a triple brain savant, for the 7 artificial intelligence reports that I've named right now, it's 1 day's work, literally. The entire board exam is. So yeah. And my dad, the greedy framer, wants everyone to look at me based on my brain savant being locked up right now, and my pharmacy school GPA, where I was abused by my stepmother, and law enforcement confessed to using severe amnesia drugs on me and locking up my brain savant completely throughout the entire time, while he himself wants to ask me for forgiveness all day and night long, using ways that I've labeled as being ways of forgiveness, all day and night long, while his framer sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, is advertising all of her daughters to me all day and night long, who look extremely ugly, by the way. Nothing like any of those girls. I'm just saying, that's what it is. And they want everyone to be running based on my brain savant being locked up right now. And they wanted themselves to be running based on what my brain savant would be like after it would get freed. I mean, just look at this, 18 million euros right over there, okay? And then him asking for forgiveness all day, night long. And this is exactly what he was doing. The psychopath was doing with Ms. Deb, calling and trying to convince her all day and night long to not give me her daughter, while at the same time he was advertising his own wife's niece to me all day and night long and asking law enforcement to check to see what the chances of me marrying her would be or not. This ad. Yeah, so he needs to make up his mind. What criteria he wants everyone else to run on is the one that he has to run on as well, which means no more blackmails, price tags for millions of euros, no more forgiveness asking for all day, night long, like how he's doing for the past 2 days or so. And his framer sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, no more begging me all day and night long to marry her daughter, which she's sent me more than 40 prenup marriage scamming blackmail since July 6th after I labeled it as a Ponzi scheme, and she still sent it to me 40 times, mainly showing that she's extremely greedy for it. She will still continue sending me these Ponzi scheme requests all day, night long, and she, by the way, was told about my brain savant, not by US law enforcement, but by the Indian government, because she became really close to them after she went and complained to them after the Pakistani government was not taking her seriously enough when she labeled U.S. law enforcement the national security risk in Pakistan in 2019. Only the news media were taking her seriously, and the government there was not, due to which she went and she complained to the Indian government. And the Indian government, whom I'm not saying anything bad about, I love them very much, they're basically the ones who told Farah the Greedy Framer about my brain savant when she went to go get her daughter Ifra married. So yeah, my main point is everyone should go based on the same criteria that my dad, the Greedy Framer, is running after me with. Not based on my brain savant being locked up right now, as it's been since July 1st, 2023, or based on my pharmacy school GPA. Same criteria that he's been begging me for forgiveness all day, night long, sending me blackmail, price tags, millions of euros to try to see what the chances of him being able to benefit from my brain savant once it would get freed. And his framer sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, sending me sexually explicit pictures of girls resembling her daughters. These two people need to make up their minds. Everyone has to run on the same criteria for me. The same one. Not like they can't say everyone else run. Look at him based on his brain savant being locked up right now and his pharmacy school GPA, where law enforcement confessed to locking up his brain savant and making sure that amnesia drugs were pumped into him so he couldn't study or give his exams properly and be abused by his stepmother the entire time. They want everyone to be looking at me based on that criteria, while they themselves are running on the criteria of how I would be when my brain savant would get freed. Sending me sexually explicit pictures of her daughter, with Farah the Greedy Framer is doing more than 40 times since July 6th. 2026. It's not even been a month yet. And after it's been labeled a Ponzi scheme so that she would stop doing it, sending me these Ponzi scheme requests for me to sign a prenup agreement with her daughters. And my dad, the Greedy Framer, sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros. I just showed you one asking me for forgiveness after lying against me in court all day, night long. And yeah, all these father-son ads, the same criteria. Everyone else looks at me the same way that these two do. And Farah the Greedy Framer, by the way, her prenup marriage request for her daughters, I've labeled it as a Ponzi scheme since July 6th, making it 40 Ponzi scheme requests since July 6, 2026, when I labeled it as a prenup marriage scam blackmail that she's sending me. After that, she sent it to me at least 40 times for me to sign this prenup marriage scamming blackmail for her daughters. So these two siblings, my dad, the Greedy Framer, and his sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, need to make up their mind. Everyone else looks at me the same way that they do. They can't say that we're going to look at him and run after him and send him blackmail price tags and beg him for forgiveness and send him Ponzi scheme requests to sign our prenup marriage scamming blackmails for our daughters. And yeah, even after he labels it a Ponzi scheme all day and night long, while sending sexually explicit pictures of girls resembling my daughters, while everyone else look at him based on his brain savant being locked up right now in his pharmacy school GPA, where he was not only had his brain savant locked up completely and abused by his stepmother and severe amnesia drugs used while I tried to study and while I was in the exam rooms. So my dad, the Greedy Framer, and his framer sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, cannot argue that everyone else looks at me based on my brain savant being locked up and my pharmacy school GPA when law enforcement confessed to locking up my brain savant and using severe amnesia drugs on me so I couldn't give my pharmacy school finals, or making it a miracle for me to even have a pharmacy degree with zero loans, while they themselves run after me, beg me for forgiveness all day, send me blackmail price tags for millions of euros, send me sexually explicit pictures of their daughters, continue sending me these requests for me to sign prenup marriage requests for their daughters, even after I labeled it a Ponzi scheme on July 6, 2026, at least 40 times afterwards in less than a month. They have to make up their mind. They can't run on one criteria based on what artificial intelligence has labeled my brain savant's monetary potential, the 7 times that artificial intelligence has calculated it for my brain savant, while everyone else runs on the criteria of me having my brain savant locked up right now, and my pharmacy school GPA when my brain savant was locked up and I was being abused by my stepmother, and law enforcement confessed to using severe amnesia drugs on me when I tried to study and when I was in the exam room. Thank you.